Welcome, everybody, to the Ultimate Advisors Resource Podcast. I'm Jordan Pence, President, Advisors Resource Company, and we help advisors like you grow your life and annuity business. And today, I've got a really, I think it's an interesting topic. A lot of advisors are always asking me, how do I grow my practice? How do I get clients? That's probably the hardest problem that really advisors have to solve. So we brought on Nick from Acquire Up. Acquire Up specializes in helping advisors do just that, right, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. We specialize in client acquisition through seminars and event-based marketing.
Fantastic. So before we get into the details of what you guys do, how you guys do it, maybe Nick, you can share a little bit about your background, a little bit about Acquire Up's background, and then we'll get right into why seminars still work and how you guys do it.
Absolutely. First and foremost, wanted to say thanks for having me on. Appreciate our partnership over the last year and look forward to spreading the good news with others here on this podcast. So first and foremost, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on myself. I've been in the business for 14 years, specifically the insurance and financial industry. Before I joined Acquire Up, I was with a company by the name of Financial Media Group, which merged with Discovery Data. So we specialized in helping out with recruitment of agents and advisors for the RIA, BD, FMO channels. And then we also worked with service providers like Acquire Up and lead companies and the likes. So funny enough, Acquire Up once was Acquired Direct, and they were my first enterprise client over at FMG. So I got to know the guys over here really well. I saw over the years what they were doing and how they were kind of changing the model of client acquisition through seminars. And it got to a point where I saw the data and the technology that we had down here. And I told my wife, I came down for a visit, flew back, and I told her, I said, we're moving to Florida. And she looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, no, you've got to trust me on this. First and foremost, I'm tired of the cold in Colorado.
Yeah.
I want to be back by the beach because I had lived in Hawaii before Colorado. And it just was like this perfect storm to kind of get everything to where it is today. So I've been here for about 9 years. They worked under me as a client for about 5 years. So been around the business for quite some time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I've actually got in the business about 15 years ago as well. So that's that's funny.
Yep.
But I'm imagining the winters are certainly a lot better in Florida as compared to Colorado.
Yeah, night and day difference. I think we've had 3 total days of what we'll call winter thus
Yeah,
far.
yeah,
You know, 36, 38 degrees for a couple days, and that's it. Much better in comparison.
yeah. Same here in Dallas. It's pretty nice right now, about 75 degrees. But anyways, so we've got like this digital marketing world out there, right? Everybody talks about digital marketing, marketing on Facebook, marketing on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Like seminars seem so old school, and what makes that still work? And why do they like why seminar marketing as opposed to all the newfangled digital marketing, AI marketing, all this other BS?
Well, to be honest, it's tried and true. You know, Choir has been around since 1986. So we've got 4 decades in the game here. Um, the long story short, if you will, is people like to do business with people they know and that they've met, right? So lead generation is great. I don't think you should ever stop doing lead gen, but I think that should be a supplement to your seminar campaigns that you're doing, just due to the fact that you can streamline everything, right? You get a group of like-minded and like demographic individuals in a room. You deliver your presentation once, you set up appointments versus getting 20, 30 leads a month, having to call all of them, pre-qualify them, set up appointments, and then some of them not even showing, right?
Yeah,
So
it's super easy to ghost somebody when you've never met them.
exactly, exactly. And even like webinar, right? Like you and I will do stuff B2B and in a webinar or a Zoom setting, and that's common. But I have advisors come to me and say, Nick, I don't want to do in person because I'm nervous. I haven't done a presentation before.
Yeah.
Or I'll do webinar. Well, here's the deal. If you and I are on a Zoom and my daughter needs something and I'm at home or the Amazon package comes, I'm going to step aside and I'm going to get that. That means
Yep.
I'm missing valuable information and
Yep.
I may not even come back because I feel like I've missed too much. So,
Or and you don't have the same connection, right? Like I could be
yeah,
browsing friggin' internet the whole time while you're going on and on about something,
exactly.
and we're checking email or answering calls or doing whatever. Like Zoom webinars, etc., are efficient, but they might not be as effective.
100%. You
Yeah,
nailed it.
that I agree that I agree with that completely. So speaking of seminars, what types of seminars are advisors seeing the best results from?
Um, it depends on their practice, right? But from an overall view, 30,000-foot view here from my seat, I would say estate planning, taxes, social security, general retirement seem to be the core of what we're seeing right now that's working the best. Estate planning, though, is probably the top performing topic and has been for the past 18 months. And I don't
Wow.
see that going away. We're looking at the largest wealth transfer that the economy is going to see over the next decade with the boomers passing away and those assets going to their heirs. I think that right now is the prime time to strike while the iron's hot, get in front of them, help them set up that plan, that will, that trust, get those assets allocated, and that
Wow.
way when they do pass, it's no worry for the family.
That's fantastic because, you know, our firm, we do annuities, but really we're pretty heavy in life insurance. And obviously when you say estate planning, that I never really thought of seminar marketing as doing much, estate planning or
Yeah.
talking about estate planning, but I'm surprised those are the highest performing.
Well, here's the deal. You guys are doing it day in and day out, even if you're not an attorney, right? You may not be preparing the legal documents, but you're preparing their life for that estate plan, right?
Oh yeah, you're definitely talking about the feeling side of it. And that's really, I think, the role of the advisor is we'll figure out what the client wants to do, and then let's put the tools in place to accomplish what they want to do. That's where you can provide a lot of value, of course. So what you mentioned the type of seminar that they're doing, but what type of advisor are we talking about? Just anybody who has an insurance license or securities license folks, or what are you looking at typically for somebody who has success at doing these seminars?
Yes and no. So here's the deal. The people who are selling term life over the phone in a call center, probably not the best fit until they get some additional training on in person and things along those lines. But I've had people come to me and say, hey, I'm tired of calling these leads that I'm getting from mail drops. I want to streamline this process, and I hear seminars are the best. I'll ask them, hey, have you ever done any public speaking? No, only in school. Okay. Are you comfortable in doing so? That's the most important thing to me because we can coach you to where you need to be successful and have positive ROI with these campaigns. But that's what I'm looking for when an advisor or an agent comes to me. It's like, look, we need to first and foremost make sure that you're comfortable. And if you're not, there's tools and resources that we can pass along too. But that's the primary qualifier that I'm looking
Yeah, like, can you speak in public? And if you can't, let's help you get some training. If you're already comfortable, that's almost half the battle, is what it
for.
sounds
Exactly.
like. You
Yep.
just got to be somewhat smooth. Maybe not smooth is not the right word.
No.
Polished or whatever would be the
Confident.
yeah, confident. There you go. That's exactly what you need to be. You need to be confident. So when advisors are thinking about doing this, what do you think the biggest mistake that they make is when they first try and do a seminar? Because a lot of it, I talked to a ton of them, and they're always looking at the next widget and next shiny object, and they try a lot. They just dabble in a lot of different
Yeah.
things. And they might say, "Well, I tried this lead service and it sucks because I didn't get anything." So, what's the biggest mistake? And I've heard people say the same thing about seminars. Like, oh, seminars suck. You just get a bunch of play lickers.
Sure.
So, what's what's the biggest mistake that they make when they try to do it the first time?
So there's two that are coming to mind right off rip. First would be consistency. To your point, next shiny object, ADHD, squirrel, whatever,
Yeah,
right? It's consistency is key in any marketing you do, right? You don't see
I agree.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, 100%. We try to do it the same. We try to stay consistent, and I make that mistake a lot myself. I mean, I'm not foolproof, but
No,
yeah,
no.
chase
And
that shiny object.
yeah, exactly. You don't see Coke just doing one TV commercial during the Super Bowl. They run them
Good
all year
point.
long, right?
Good point.
And the Super Bowl may be the most profitable time for them. I'm just pulling stuff out of my hat here, but
Yeah,
they run it all year long. And that's the thing is a prospect may see your marketing materials today and not have a need in a month, 2 months, 3 months. Maybe somebody passed away, they inherited some money, they're getting ready to retire, they need to know what to do with their 401k or IRA, right? All these things come into play. So it's about timing as well. So
that's half the battle, isn't it?
consistency and then being too robotic, right? You and I are having a conversation here, and none of this is scripted. Your presentation shouldn't be super scripted either.
Yep.
It shouldn't. People want to
Yep.
work with people. They don't want to work with robots. Otherwise, there would be AI programs selling life annuities and assets under management services. It's
Yeah.
that simple.
Otherwise, I'll just work with a robo advisor
Yeah,
online. I mean, you might as
exactly.
well do it yourself.
Yep. So those are the two that I see.
That's a really good point. And one of the you had sent us a guide a while back from Frank. His name's escaping Frank
Maselli?
Maselli.
Maselli, yeah. And in it, it's like the four reasons you stop following up with a prospect. And number one is they died. Second one's you died. And they're generally not interested, and then they buy something or something like that.
Yeah,
It's pretty
that
funny.
that is definitely number three. And
Oh,
to your point there, Frank is one of those resources that we have. He's a phenomenal seminar coach. I recommend everybody talk to him, whether you've done seminars for 20 years or this is your first one. The guy
yeah,
is a genius, right?
yeah.
He comes to our conference that we do every year, which is called Masterclass. And then he also comes out to our sales trainings. And the first time that I heard him present, I was like, this guy's slick. The second time was at one of our internal sales trainings, and he got really into the nitty gritty. And I was absolutely sold on him since then. So
Yeah, that's
great resource.
fantastic, and it's great that you guys have a resource like that because when we did one of these a while back with one of our other advisors, we connected with him, and yeah, he gave us a lot of good advice
Absolutely.
that I thought was really valuable. So when we do a lot of lunch and learns and events for advisors. My biggest fear is nobody shows up.
Yep.
So I guess how do you fill the room? Like, what's the biggest factor in getting people to attend? And then I guess following that up or in conjunction with that is like, how do you make sure you get the right people in the room and not a bunch of playmakers?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of ways that we can go about marketing. We have a performance based program, which is done through digital marketing, right? So social media, Facebook, Instagram, that Meta platform, and then some other applications that we utilize. The nice thing about that is people can plug into a system that is done for them. The agent or advisor is responsible for booking the venue and presenting, and we'll handle the rest. So they let us know who attended. We, obviously do all of the confirmation calls and what have you. Once they let us know who has attended, then we invoice them. So for those that are worried about no shows or lackluster responses, I always tell them to start with that program. And then for the other side of things and making sure that people are qualified, we have a monthly feed from the three largest data compilers in the US. And effectively, what we've done over the last decade is figured out what they're good at and what they're not good at, merge them all into one database, which in turn gets your agents in front of anywhere from 10 to 20% unique records that they will not hit elsewhere. So
Wow.
that in and of itself is massive. And we'll work with the agent or the advisor to ensure that we're targeting the right demographics. So I always like to start with what does your ideal client look like? And what does your book of clients look like, right? What is the average age range? What's the average asset level? Things along those lines. So when we put together a campaign, we're targeting those folks on the front end, so you don't have to worry about qualifying them on the back end.
That's really fantastic. And I guess do you do two different types of events with the two different types of models, or
Mhm.
okay, so maybe speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the performance based is done all through social media. That one we don't have as much control as of late because the new special ad category rules that the Meta platform put into place kind of handcuffed us, to be honest, with the ability to target based on ages and incomes and assets like we used to.
Why would
However,
they do that?
money grab, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, because then they can say, "Oh, well, you get whoever you get, and we can charge you for all those people."
Exactly, exactly. So we've got some fail safes in place. The ads that we run for those programs are very self filtering, right? Talking about taxes and retirement or estate planning or social security. So it eliminates that bottom end of the younger demographic who would see the ads but they don't respond. And then also if somebody under 49 responds to those advertisements, we put them into an automatic wait list. You can then make the decision whether or not you want them to come, or if you want to leave them on the wait list and just follow up with them and say, hey, I saw your interest in this event. This is for 55 plus, that's the demographic that we're targeting here or that this suits. But I'd love to have you come to the office for an appointment.
Yeah, that's actually probably a fantastic way to do it.
Yep.
So, so like when you're like actually doing the meeting, right? You're doing the seminar. What works and what doesn't? Like what separates something a seminar that has a ton of opportunity or a ton of meetings as a result from it versus one that they eat your steak dinner and then they leave. what
Well,
separates those two?
I, I think that comes down to how good you are, right? I've got a group in the Villages here in Florida, which is the largest retirement community in the US. And many people there, many advisors that I work with say there's professional plate lickers. Sure,
I bet there is. Yeah.
absolutely. There are.
Yeah.
But I have one of my clients that says, I don't care if they come and eat my steak 3 times, 6 times, 12 times, they're going to do business with me. At some point, it's going to click in their mind that I am the guy. They may go see 7 uh, seminars, but they're not going to see anything like mine. So,
That's pretty confident.
yeah, and I think that's what you've gotta have, right? You gotta go into this understanding either people are coming for my information if I'm not doing a dinner, right? If I'm doing them at a library, community center, you've got your do-it-yourselfers or the personal information gatherers. That's our
Yeah.
term instead of plate lickers. Um, but you're gonna be able to convert them if you show them you have enough knowledge and enough value that you add, right? Because let's be realistic, anybody can do this outside of, the life license for the life and annuities. You can invest your own money however you want. But
Sure.
there's a point where your time is more valuable than doing it yourself.
Good
And if
point.
somebody can provide more value, then that's when these people tend to make that switch.
Yeah. And I guess if you really think about it, it doesn't, room of 20 people, it doesn't really take a lot to turn that
Yeah.
from a win to a loss. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Or a loss to a win.
certainly.
Right. It might only take bringing on one of those people, right? Like if you brought on one person, you're probably going to recover all of your costs.
Absolutely. Yeah, and let's dive into that a little bit if we have time.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
this is what I like to tell my clients. It's like, look, you're gonna spend between 5 and 10 grand on a campaign.
Right.
What do you need to do to turn a positive ROI? And I put that back on them. I know the percentages. I just want them to say it out loud because then it clicks and it's not nearly as hard. Um,
Yeah.
so with that, I would say You spend
Basically, to
5 grand.
answer your question, 5 to 10,000, you sell like $100,000 FIA.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not tough. And if we're targeting people with a quarter million and above of investable assets, then you close one person, you get some annuity, you get some AUM if you do that side of the business, and you've got everybody else who's responded who you can continue to work. So it's
yeah,
not.
yeah, you just increased your prospect list by, well, probably more than 20 because you had waitlisted people, you had no shows, you had whatever.
Yeah,
And in fact, I think that the no shows could actually be a really good way to, can actually be even more profitable, it seems like, because sometimes those ones that didn't show actually wanted the information
yeah,
and not just me.
exactly. Yeah, and to touch on like average ROI, because that's what a lot of people want to know. It's like, I don't want to just break even. I'm in this to make money. We all are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So average ROI is anywhere from 3 to 5x. And that's people that are just getting started. They don't have their process refined. They haven't met with Frank Maselli yet. They're fumbling through, but they're still turning a positive ROI. My clients that are turning 7 to 12x, they've had that breakthrough, right? Where they're like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to do this or I need to say this, and that's what's going to get these people to convert. Um, I'll
Yeah, they can practice. I mean, the more you do it, I don't care how many times you practice it in front of your dog, like doing it way different, you know?
it is, 100%.
It's hard to
So
get that experience till you just do it.
yeah, and I tell people too, hey, if you're brand new to this, chat with Frank, chat with somebody at your FMO, get some coaching, and then set them an event with your clients. Client bring a friend, right? You'll know
Good.
half of the
Yeah.
audience, so you're already comfortable. You find one person on the left side, one person in the middle, one person on the right side, and that's who you look at so that you're comfortable and it looks like you're looking around the room. From there, cut your teeth doing it that way, do one or two of those, and then come back to me and let's do an event with fresh prospects.
That's a really good idea to practice. I think that's a fantastic idea. Cause then, okay, if half the room's your clients, you might even get something out of it, but at least it's a client, like recognition, client
Yep,
reward, whatever you want to say, not client, but client appreciation. There you go.
absolutely.
And that goes a long way with your clients. I mean, people love that stuff.
Yeah. And birds of a feather flock together, right? So
Typically,
if Betty's your client and she brings Susan, they're probably pretty similar in their demographic and their financial standpoints.
yeah, that's a really good point. Usually, yeah, almost 95% of the time, that's a really good point.
Yep.
I like that idea. That's fantastic. So wrapping up on the seminar itself, how important is the offer or the call to action when you're closing out this seminar? You've gone through the seminar. How important is that? And it's
Uh,
probably, I'm
it,
assuming, the most important thing.
yes, it is the utmost important thing. Your message could be mediocre at best. Your delivery could be decent. And if your call to action is strong, you're going to finish just fine. So, what I like to tell people is set your appointments at the events. And I
Yeah.
said that slow so that people listen because that is important. Strike while the
Yeah.
iron's hot. So, there's a couple of tricks that I like to share. Create a sense of urgency,
Okay.
immediate from the beginning of the event. Open up with, hey, I'm Nick. I'm with Acquire Up. I've been in the business, blah, blah. Give your intro and say,
Yeah.
listen, there's 30 of you in this room. This little whiteboard right next to me has the next 12 appointments that I have available in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, that is
So
good.
if you see or if you hear what you want during this presentation and you think this is going to be of value to you and your retirement plan, I need you to eye one of those and grab it and take it back to my assistant when I wrap up because
Oh, that's
that'll lock it down for you.
a fantastic idea.
So that in and of itself has gotten people from setting 10 to 30% appointments to 50+% appointments
Wow.
because it people are visual, right?
Yeah.
They see, all right, there's only 12, there's 30 of us in the room. Maybe there's 18 buying units. So 6 of us aren't going to be able to get an appointment.
Yeah, it creates somewhat of a scarcity effect.
Correct.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Correct.
That's fantastic. So then at the end, you'd revisit that chart and have some sort of offer, right?
Yes. Yep. And I even have advisors tell me that they'll have the clients or prospects rather walk up mid presentation and snag it. And then
Wow.
that creates kind of an effect of a snowball effect of, oh crap, I've got to go get that right now.
Yeah, I got to
Um,
find one that'll work before somebody else takes it.
yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that's a great idea. I love that. That's fantastic.
And you can even plant a couple of clients in those seminars. So you can say, "Hey, Betty, do me a favor and go grab this time on this day." It's actually not an appointment, but that'll create that sense of urgency in their mind, and it gets people moving.
That's a really good idea too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So seminars over, what what are the top performing advisors doing or following up, or how are they doing it differently than the ones that are having mediocre performance?
I would say there's a couple of things. So it starts at the beginning, right? Before the seminar even happens. My top performers are reaching out to prospects almost instantly within 24 to 48 hours of registration. And through our platform, you're able to see who's registered, when they registered, as well
'Cause we
as,
haven't even talked about lead jig yet.
yeah,
I don't know that we need to spend a ton of time on it, but lead jig is really sweet.
yeah. I mean, that was one of the reasons that I moved my family across the country was because of that
Sure.
software.
Yeah,
And
lead jig is actually, I was like, when we first started talking to you guys, you were talking about lead jig. I was like, oh yeah, another CRM, great. That's just what we need. But I was very impressed with how you can organize stuff and all that. It's great.
yes, it is a phenomenal system. So it starts at the beginning. You have to build that rapport and that relationship with these folks. And one of my clients that does a really good job, they'll reach out, confirm the registration, and confirm the address that the prospect provided. They then send them a welcome packet. It's like, okay, I'm going to send you a VIP welcome packet in the mail. Be on the lookout for this. They'll overnight it in, the big envelope. It's got kind of what to look forward to during the event. It's got a lanyard with their company logo on it and a spot for a name tag. Like when we go to
Nice.
conferences, same thing. So it makes the prospects feel bought into the process, and their attendance ratios are about 90% on average.
Wow. Wow.
So with that, they've already got the relationship. They've already talked with the assistant or the advisor pre-event. So psychologically speaking, they kind of feel like they owe something to the advisor if what they said matches during the event.
Yeah, that makes sense. And will the advisor, when they call them, try to like build some side type of rapport? Hey, what interests you about this? That type of thing.
Definitely. And then some of the enhanced data within our system on each individual prospect gives you some good talk tracks too. So in some cases, you may see previous locations lived, work history, skills, interests, hobbies.
Oh,
So
yeah.
work that into the conversation as well post event. Don't
Mm.
read it verbatim and look like Big Brother, but if, they recently moved from Alabama to Texas, for example, and you have some sort of tie-in with Alabama, you can kind of work that into the conversation and that'll help build that rapport a lot
Oh,
quicker.
that's a great. Yeah, don't say. I see your previous address was 1 2 3 6. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably a bad. Don't do that.
sure.
So let's maybe end this on pitfalls and costly mistakes. Like, where do advisors waste the most money with seminars? What should they not do when they're trying to do this? And, how many should they do before they decide like seminars aren't like I'm a bad presenter and I shouldn't do this anymore? Like, how many? You obviously shouldn't do one,
Yep.
only one, but you shouldn't do 10 and get no result because then you go broke. So where's the kind of happy medium, and what should be people be thinking about as far as mistakes and pitfalls go?
Yeah, so let's hit on number of events to mentally commit to, I would say 3.
Okay.
And we don't require any contracts, commitments. We're only as good as our last campaign. So we don't want to lock you in that way. And if you're not a great person to work with, easy to work with, whatever it may be, we don't want you locked in that way either. Right. So
Yeah,
it
no, for
protects
sure.
both of us. But I say three campaigns is what I tell people to mentally commit to. Um, and then from a costly mistake standpoint, it's not working the leads. You spent good money on those prospects. Whether you're doing a dinner or not, you're spending good money on the marketing. You
Yeah.
need to work the leads. It's that simple. So carve out some time every 3 days to reach out to these folks within the first month.
Yeah,
And
like that shirt I see on LinkedIn, "Call the damn leads." I don't even know who that
oh,
is, but I see that all the time.
it
Call
drives
them.
me
Call 'em.
crazy.
Yeah,
I have an advisor who just cherry picks and he does very well. He does 20 million a year worth of annuity production.
that's pretty good.
Not terrible, but he could be doing 50 if he put in the elbow grease and actually followed up with these prospects. He's a little bit older in the business. He's been around for 30 years. He's kind of more of a lifestyle guy. When his wife wants a new car or whatever, he'll gear it up or ramp it up rather. But it's really to your point, work the damn leads,
Yeah,
especially if you're spending money on them.
I know. I
It
know.
blows my mind.
It's like, yeah, if you're afraid to make phone calls, this probably is the wrong business for you, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. You should turn your license in if that's the case.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So that would be the biggest waste. I probably would agree with you on that, is not calling the leads, not following up with. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Any other final thoughts on this?
Just no, just be consistent, with your messaging. Honestly, you're gonna need to try a few things before you figure out what works, but the system works if you work it.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess I'll leave this with, if you're new to seminars, if you want to get into it, certainly you can reach out to Nick at Acquire Up. We've got a special deal with Acquire Up. Definitely reach out to us. We'd be happy to connect you. And I think this is a great way to try and grow your practice, especially if your calendar's not full. This is a great way to fill up your calendar. You should stick with the basics. Every advisor should be holding at least 10 meetings a week. If you're not doing that right now, you got to figure out a way to bridge that gap. Otherwise, you're not maximizing your time. You're not living up to your full potential. And that this is a great way to do that if you aren't at the activity levels that you need to. So,
Yeah.
and you guys recently put out the 2025 industry index, and that is about how other advisors are marketing their practices.
Yes.
We'll put that here in the description if anybody wants to download that. And like I said, feel free to reach out if you want any more information or have any questions about working with Acquire Up and how they can help you grow your practice.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I appreciate you having me on your show here. I look forward to having a great 2026, helping your agents and advisors grow their books, and if we can help anybody new out as well, let's make it happen.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.